Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here on what is today? Thursday. Maybe it's a Friday afternoon for you. Who knows what time and date or place you're watching this. But right now, right here, we've got the best combat sports show going for us. That's our little MMA Daily Show that we run early and often as possible. But, real life does get in the way. Real life does happen for some of us small folk around there. Yesterday or the day before, whenever I last streamed, kind of went off on a rant and rave, and we had some fun in the chat. But today, a little more serious, a little bit more refined. Got a couple stories and articles to break down with you, and I'm excited to dive into all of that. Of course, we got more White House details. We got Brandon Moreno talking about the White House. We got UFC Mexico coming up. We got PFL, and we have the return of the GFL. That's right, the Global Fight League, the draft, everything to deal with that. It's back. It's better than ever. Allegedly. I know you guys were all looking forward to that much more than anything else this week, much more than anything else today. And we're going to get into it right freaking now. Again, hope everybody is doing well out there. Alex is back. Alex must just not have a job. I mean, what is he doing here? He's here every single day, every single time now. But no, not the GFL, anything but that. The horror that is the GFL. No, unfortunately, Alex, the GFL, they're back in the news cycle, at least for today, at least for yesterday, at least for tomorrow. Beyond that, I'm not so sure, but we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. We'll make fun of it as we must. But again, you guys don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, do that whole thing. Let's keep this thing going. Maybe we can get monetized. Maybe I can let you guys drop some chats in there that are worth more than just free. No, I'm just kidding. I don't fucking care. We're going to cuss. We're going to do everything right off rip because I don't do this for the money. This is just fun. This is my little side thing, okay? It's just for fun. It's like my hobby, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to get famous, not trying to make money. We're just here discussing stuff in a normal, reasonable manner, except for my occasional blow up here and there and cussing and raving and ranting. But that's okay. That's okay. Everybody has their right to do that. And I respect everybody very much, even if we make fun of and shit on every single person out there. Of course, they call me the hardcore hater for a reason. I hate and dispute almost everything I can get my hands on. I'm always very critical, always very skeptical. It's what I do. So we're going to take it up to an 11. We're going to play a little bit of a character. And everything in here is alleged information. All the rumors, everything like that is alleged. It's alleged. But we try to get down and dirty with everything possible. So we'll continue on. Welcome in again, once and for all. So that'll do it. Again, you guys hang tight. Drop some chats in here. I'll be keeping up with you as much as I can. But if you're just going to lurk out there, that's okay too. So let's jump into this. The most recent news, not more than just an hour old, is again that allegedly, whoever the hell is getting this information, the chances of Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje fighting at the White House have decreased. Now, why is that exactly? I don't know. Let's read and find out for ourselves. The fight hasn't been signed yet, and several geopolitical and economic factors are reportedly standing in the way of it happening at the White House. I'm not sure if Trump's advisors would feel comfortable with putting a Hispanic Georgian fighter in the main event in a scenario where there's a very high probability that the American star ends up getting knocked out. It's also advising and structuring things in a more positive way for American interests. Now, who could we find that would be successful as an American in the main event? I don't really know of a bigger guy. I don't really care to see any other American in the main event. I just want the biggest and best fights that we can get. If Putin's going to be there, if other people are going to be there, why not just throw Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria in there? I don't care. But if it's got to be American on American, who the hell are you going to find? Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, too? We going to run that one back for the belt? I don't think so. What are we going to do? Sean O'Malley versus who? Peter Yan, a Russian versus the American? Same thing. Sean O'Malley, I don't know if he's got much of a chance at this point, but who knows? Hey, Autumn Hardy, jumping in here. Thank you for being here. Hope you're well. What do you think about all this? I'd be curious to hear from you and Alex and anybody else out there listening. It's just more craziness, more bullshit, and is this really breaking news? Is this really worth breaking news for? No, it's not. It's just absolute bullshit. Make Bo Nickel versus Colby. I say open the card with that. Bo Nickel, Colby Covington, two pretty high-profile characters. Maybe that'll be what it is. Let's see if I can find the graphic I had. We do know that as of late, the rankings have been a bit questionable, but moving Colby Covington up the rankings, despite not winning a fight since March of 2022 against, who was that? Jorge Masvidal? What was that? UFC 272, if I'm just guessing, just putting a ballpark number out there for you. He last fought in December of 2024. Oh, my goodness. I mean, what are we doing moving the rankings around like this? Absolutely absurd. I mean, not just him, but Derek Lewis as well. Are we positioning people for the White House card? That would be my guess. Much like they've removed Loner Kavanaugh from the rankings at flyweight, even though he's main eventing now. I mean, what are we, like, it's either one way or the other, and that just seems like two different conflicting things. Don't you want to bump guys up in your bullshit rankings to a ranked spot if they're going to be main eventing to make them look better? I guess not in the case of Loner Kavanaugh, but for Colby and Derek Lewis, yeah, rock them on, skyrocket them on up there, okay? Give them the rocket, strap it to their back, and boost them up the rankings despite not even fighting, not even winning, nothing like that. Anyway, let's take a closer look at some of these rankings adjustments here. I'll zoom in for you. I'll let you take a look for just a second. We'll remove that chat out of there. Thank you, Alex, once again. I'll let you take a look at that. Let me adjust one or two things over here on this side. So I'll go radio silent for about 10 seconds, and that'll be it. And we'll keep moving right along. Yeah, so, of course, Ante D'Elia recently just fought this past weekend against who? Sergey Spivak. Sergey Spivak then gets a bump up in the rankings by one spot. Rizvan Kunayev, he jumps down a spot. Marcin Tybura, Derek Lewis, though, they go 2, 3 spots up the rankings. I mean, what is this? What is going on? Ante D'Elia, I mean, they had a pretty back-and-forth war. I mean, you could argue that they should just stay in their respective spots, Spivak and D'Elia, but I guess not. Mick Parkins somehow jumped up 2 whole spots. Shamil Gaziev, I don't know how this guy's not ranked in the top 5, but he's not. We got to hold our horses there. Vitor Petrino, mind you, has now gone into the number 15 spot. Somehow the light heavyweight moving up to heavyweight. He'll be taking on Steven Asplund in a couple of weeks. I feel they're positioning that so that Steven Asplund can get a win and take that 15 spot. Just a theory, just a suggestion. I mean, you follow the patterns over the course of time and you can figure this stuff out for yourselves. Anyway, we move on to the welterweight rankings, and you can take a look here. Islam Makhachev is your champion. Meanwhile, Jack Della Maddalena still number 1. Ian Gary number 2. Michael Morales number 3. Below where's Shavkat Rakhmonov? Of course, we know that he recently was taken out of the rankings. The knee injuries, everything holding him out. But yet Colby Covington still gets to sit in the rankings. Now, listen, I was a fan of Colby back in the day. I liked the way he ran his mouth. I liked the way that he played the villain. I love to hate Colby Covington. But come on, at this point, why is he in the rankings? Shavkat's been removed. He hadn't fought since December of 2020. Like, it's the same fucking thing. Why has Colby not been booted? I understand it if they're out for a significant amount of time. If they're out for an extended period of time, you can remove them if it's been over a year. I could understand that if that's going to be your rule. However, Colby still is sitting right there. Get a nice, refreshing drink of water there. Who are they replacing in the rankings? Vitor's replacing Almeida. Colby moved up because Neal lost, and I don't know who replaced Kavanaugh. We'll get there, Alex. We'll get there. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. But now Uros Medic, he'll jump up to number 12. I like the look of that. Daniel Rodriguez somehow in the rankings. If you know, you know. But that guy, I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. We'll keep scooting along. Featherweight had a couple of changes. Melky Costa, I won't even try to say his name in full. He has now gone from unranked after beating Dan Ige into the number 13 spot, which I think is perfect. And you know what? We're lining up for Melky Costa to get some big fights in 2026, hoping that he stays active because he didn't take a lot of damage and he got a quick finish, exciting finish. Throw him on a pay-per-view. This guy is going up those rankings pretty quick. His last loss was to number 9 ranked Steve Garcia. So that'll do it for featherweight. But Joseph Morales, who the hell is Joseph Morales, you might be asking. Yeah, I don't even barely know myself. No. I do know who it is. I've seen him fight a few times. Blah, blah. He's all right. He's okay. He's not a bad fighter, but is he worth the number 15 spot? Especially, like I mentioned, Loner Kavanaugh is fighting in a main event. Don't you want some ranked guys in the main events? I guess not. I guess in the case of other divisions, you do. Flyweight doesn't matter. It's just an afterthought. I get it. We get it. We understand what the UFC is really looking for. So in terms of what the UFC is looking for, okay, nice segue here, okay? The UFC is looking to make the biggest and best fights, allegedly, and one of those we thought for a long time might have been Kamaru Usman versus Islam Makhachev, of course, a legacy fight in which he does not in any way, does not deserve this fight against Islam. Needs to get another win. Needs to get back in the win column after that win over Joaquin Buckley, which was impressive, which I was surprised that he did. But come on, you can't get a title shot off a Joaquin Buckley win at this point in 2026, even though Joaquin Buckley was riding the hot hand in that one. Kamaru Usman impressed all of us, out-wrestled the guy, dominated him from pillar to post. And so, yeah, sounds like that is not the case. It will not be Islam Makhachev. Let's take a listen and see what Kamaru said for himself.
The Islam fight was obviously what I wanted and what I felt would have been great, not just for me, not just for Islam, but would have been great for the company, would have been great for the world to see that. And for some reason, we've had conversations, but Hunter Campbell feels differently, and Hunter Campbell's like, maybe not. He wants to go a different rate. We don't know yet. They haven't come out and said, okay, Islam is going to get this guy or Islam is going with me. But it's been a tumultuous back and forth with getting that done. And then the other things were presented to me, like potentially DDP was presented.
My God, the editing here. I hope this is not how the actual podcast is edited. If it is, I don't know how you motherfuckers actually watch this shit. I hope that this was edited after the fact. Please tell me that it was. I'm not going to go back and rewatch it, re-listen to this bullshit, okay? I'm just going to catch the clips online, much like all of you others as well. Now, when I need further context, when something requires context, yes, we do go back and do our research. We do come at this from an educated angle, unlike every other every other content creator out there. Now, I don't consider myself a content creator. I just like to talk about the sport. I'm not doing this for clicks and views. I like to make a goofy thumbnail here and there, but beyond that, it's just for fun. Okay, but we're going to do our research. We're going to talk about things in a legitimate manner. And when I need to scream at the microphone, it's worth it. It's not useless. It's worth it. Do I need to go back and do research? No. This is what it is. Okay, so it sounds like Hunter Campbell being the voice of reason, as he always is. The next Dana White, does he have the personality? Maybe. We don't really know. I don't know much about Hunter Campbell from a personal perspective. But as a business guy, as a guy who runs this company, who's taking the phone calls left, right, and center, I like what he does. Anyway, Alex, you said it perfectly. Kamaru, the fans do not want it, bro. How could he ignore that? Nobody fucking wanted this shit. Listen. A legacy title fight, would it be the worst title fight we've ever seen happen? No. If it happened, it would happen, and it would be whatever at this point. The UFC's running their shit the way they want to run it. We don't have much say. But when it comes to main card placements, when it comes to lower level stuff that's not the title fights, not the big giant decisions that are affecting the direction of the company, we do know the fans have some say, of course, in the Bo Nickal situation. We have bumped him down out of the main card into the prelim spots as of late. So, listen. The voice of the public, the vast majority of fans, do not want this, and I think that they know that because it's goofy and there's other fights out there. Why would you want Kamaru at damn near 40 years old to be fighting Islam when you could have Ilia Topuria versus Islam? Okay, like there's no real debate there. But a Dricus du Plessis matchup, that potential there would be interesting. I would like to see that, but come on. It's all there. It's perfect. The storyline, everything involved, the Bilal, the Kamaru, the betrayal, whatever's going on there, the history, the bad blood, the slaps heard around the world, Come on, that's the only fight to make. Bilal just lost to Ian Gary. Let's get Kamaru back in there. If he can beat Bilal, who I think is still a top 5 guy at welterweight despite his age, why not? Then maybe you run it in there for a title shot. Then you can get your legacy title shot. You don't get everything based on legacy in this sport, but we do know sometimes this isn't all about the money. It's not always a meritocracy. They run things how they run things. Sometimes it's a meritocracy. Sometimes it's just combat sports, and it is all about the money. Who sells the most? Who provides the best value? And Kamaru Usman, from a legacy perspective, could do that, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be the way that the UFC decides to go. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Alex, he knows he doesn't want it, but maybe somebody out there, you can play devil's advocate. I'd like to hear it. I'll argue the other side of things, but if not, then we'll keep chugging right along. Speaking of chugging along, okay, just got my drink of water, moving the train tracks down the road here. Yeah, you saw it, the title, everything. I mentioned it off the top. The GFL is back. Global Fight League just announced on IG that they were rebuilding the foundation of the startup promotion. They announced the creation of their Athlete Performance and Wellness Council, formed of well-known names in the MMA world. Let's take a closer look at this. I mean, a 15-year-old photo of Tyron Woodley. This must be a trustworthy thing. This must be absolutely legitimate. Benson Henderson hitting the Ozempic as of late. Great smile, but ooh, what happened to him? Ilima-Lei McFarlane, a picture of her from Bellator. And then Burt Watson, our team dedicated to supporting athlete health, performance, and longevity in competition and beyond. And not just these well-known names, but others as well. Mike Goldberg, pardon me, the commentator in charge of health and wellness, Dr. Jen Welter. Okay. Hector Lombard, another 10-year-old photo there. I mean, if that. Jessica Aguilar. All right. And Kat Zingano. Maybe the only woman on here that's actually worth doing anything with this. Okay, anyway. What the fuck? I really don't have any other words. I'll believe it when I see it. Does this mean they're going to do another draft? Does this mean they're going to have another set of fighters and set of teams and coaches and blah, 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 blah? What is this? What is this? Not but a year ago did we have an entire theme song brought out for these guys, an entire video package brought out for the draft that they played 100 times during the 3-hour draft. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know who's backing this. I don't know who's involved. Same guys all over again. Who was it? Darren Owens, that guy? Do we believe that guy? Do we want to trust that guy? I have my doubts. Okay, look. Check it out. Global Fight League. Together we fight. GFL is a global team-based MMA league that empowers athletes, build enduring rivalries, and gives fans a real stake in the sport's future. That's it. That's all we got. I mean, at least you can go follow them on LinkedIn. At least there's that. Because, boy, oh boy, I mean, you'd be basically an investor at this point. Let's check out their leadership. Seasoned leadership united by our vision of team-based MMA to put fans at the center of every rivalry, elevate athletes, and create a shared ownership. Yeah, that sounds great. The NFL, the NBA, they're players that are getting paid $30, $40, $50 million a year. They're very relatable to us every day, folks. The blue-collar workers of the world. We really relate to them. We really appreciate them, don't we? Anyway, executive leadership, Vince Hesser, Jeffrey Pollock, Darren Owen, Scott I mean, who are these? Like, who are these guys? Don't know, don't care, doesn't matter. XFL, MMA, World Series of Fighting. I mean, come on. Here's what we just looked at. What are we doing? Business Advisory Board. I mean, thank goodness we have these folks. Basil DeVito, Laura Gentile, Kevin Legret, Garib, Seamus, Bruce. I mean, what are y'all doing? I mean, what are we getting involved in here? Why have you signed your name to this? Why are you on the website? What are you providing here? Because I can't tell and I can't see a damn thing. Ay. GFL's back and better than ever. I can't wait. I know you guys can't either. I know this is scintillating information, scintillating news, and just at the forefront of your thoughts at every waking moment. The Ginger Dana White won't give up. The GFL makes PFL look like pride, and they didn't even use the damn cage. No, they didn't. I mean, the PFL, speaking of the PFL and how wonderful and awesome the PFL and their rule sets and everything about the PFL is, I got another piece of scintillating news. I got another piece of news that's just going to blow your mind. Logan Storley, the Bellator legend, former champion, is back in the main event. Holy fucking shit. This guy just got absolutely destroyed by Thad Gene. Why do I want to see him in the main event? Why do I fucking care that he's ranked number 4 in their new rankings? The PFL is trying to do good here. They're trying to salvage something from the wreckage that was the Don Davis era. I like the way that their new guy, John Martin, is running things, but this ain't it. This ain't fucking it. Saturday, May 2nd. This better be in the middle of the day because you know if the UFC is on at the same time. Nobody's watching this shit. I don't even want to watch this. You think I want to pay $30 for ESPN Unlimited when they provide nothing else of value? Absolutely not. You think I'm going to go even try to legally stream this thing? No. Not a chance in hell I'm going to watch this. You have to put on a stellar PFL card with all their big names on one card for me to tune into this shit. I'll catch the highlights after the fact. I know damn well there ain't going to be a highlight coming out of this fight. I don't give a fuck about this whatsoever, and neither should you. Neither should you. Van Steenis versus Edwards 2, first major MMA promotion to break into Spain. Now that I'll give him credit for. Now that is something that I might tune in for. That is something that I might be interested in if I didn't have to pay $30 just to watch one event. It's happening on a Friday, not on a Saturday. Getting away from the UFC, that's the way to do things. That's a good move. But this shit, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, good for them and good for those folks. Good for Logan Storley. But I don't give a fuck. He's boring as shit. I don't need to see that in the main event. If he's going to be co-main, got no problem with that. I mean, what are we doing? Every single time they make one move, they take 2 steps back and backtrack entirely. I mean, we got fight highlights, we got this, we got that, we got Van Steenis talking about stuff. I mean, where's the Paul Hughes news? Yeah, he's going to be fighting again over in where? Belfast, I do believe. Where's the poster? Somebody give it to me. I can't even find anything. There it is. Alex, May 2nd is the David Benavidez fight. Now, that's a big night. Is it Inoue versus Nakatani also happening either that morning or the day before? I mean, a massive big event, big weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend. It's going to be massive no matter what. The PFL, though, they're not really adding anything other than just watch time and maybe time that I may spend on the couch. Other than that, I could give 2 fucks. But Paul Hughes versus J.J. Wilson, that's an interesting one. I do like that fight better. I think it provides more entertainment. I think it provides more stakes. There's more involved in this. There's more potential outcomes here. Taking place on a Thursday. Golly. Local main card start midnight. Holy cow. What are we doing here? Bellator was the first to get to Hawaii, and look how they ended up. I mean, it was awesome when they would go to Hawaii, spend time with the veterans out there. It was great. It was awesome. But there was no infrastructure. They had these awesome moments. They did these awesome things. Excuse me, but beyond that, again, they put on events here and there. Excuse me. You need to have a foundation of fans, and they just don't have any kind of foundation here in America. Just go over to Europe. Go over to the Middle East. Go over to South Africa. They're putting on great events and selling out stadiums there, or selling out arenas over in South Africa. The PFL Africa has been fantastic. Those cards have been awesome to watch. If you can find it, if you can watch it. But nobody knows about it. Nobody's promoting it. You're too busy promoting this stuff. I would sell off all your major assets, which are your big-name fighters, and start from the ground up and put on awesome events where there's awesome knockouts and grow the sport from a grassroots perspective in Africa, in the Middle East. That's what we need. That's what the PFL can provide because they have that basic level of infrastructure to put on events internationally. But here in America, nobody fucking cares about this. Nobody gives a shit about Sergio Pettis versus who's he fighting? I can't even fucking remember. And putting on events for your local hometown crowd at midnight? What are you doing? I even put out a tweet that was like, hell yeah, fight's starting at midnight for us. Not that I'm going to get up and watch it, but for them to wake up in the morning and try to balance the timesheet, I don't know what they were doing. I thought this was going to be good at first, but then I read into it and I'm like, holy shit, they're doing this completely backwards. If we live in the United States, we should be having to get up at a separate time for the prime time events that are taking place over in Europe or across the world. Let's just be honest. So that the crowd and everything involved can be awesome. The environment, the experience can be great for the local crew because they're showing up. They're putting in the effort. They're paying the money to be there. That's how you build the sport from a grassroots perspective. We'll catch it because we're diehard MMA fans at any hour of the day. I think JJ might upset Hughes. Any odds out? I'm not so sure about the odds now. I can go look them up. I can go find them. Let me get you caught up there. Again, I'm not an odds guy. I'm not a big fight picking guy. That's just not my cup of tea. But I can pull them up. I can find them if they're out there. Let's see. PFL, Tapology. Let's see. I don't even see this event listed at all. But I can look up their opening odds for the fight, Alex. We can get you that. But yeah, JJ, very explosive, pretty dangerous finisher. Paul Hughes, a little bit of a, steadier fighter, more well-rounded, probably the better technical fighter overall, I would say. Absolutely no question in this fight. But for JJ, he's explosive, he's dangerous. He can put guys away. He's a good fighter. He's solid enough. I think he could hang in there with Paul for at least a round or two. I don't know if this is going to be 3 or 5 rounds. Again, I want to get you those odds as soon as I can. Let's see. Paul Hughes versus J.J. Wilson. Fight odds. They might not be out yet. Fight odds. Here we go. Not much showing up here. Get out of here. Get out of here. I got to pay for this? Absolutely not. Absolutely. Let's see. Pete Carroll wrote a bit of an article. We'll scan through this. I'm not going to read it. You guys can go back, check it out on Uncrowned. They're doing a good thing over there, at least trying to. I don't see any odds, but, man, 1:30 local time for everybody watching in Belfast. That's going to be rough. I don't see any fight odds. You're going to have to find that soon. We'll try to figure that out before the event starts. Anyway, May 2nd. No. Should be April 25th, I believe, maybe the week before. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know what I'm doing. April 16th. My apologies there. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I predict that Paul Hughes is likely going to be the favorite. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a big betting guy, so I don't know exactly what the, how high of a favorite, how high of an underdog or low, whatever you want to call it. But JJ likely going to be the underdog, but I do believe he's the more dangerous, more capable of finishing the fight in this one. Paul Hughes, of course, going to coast to victory no matter what he does against the lower level of competition. Usman Nurmagomedov fight could be coming up again, maybe a third one. Maybe they run that back again. We'll see. But Usman Nurmagomedov, I do believe his contract ends at the end of 2026. It comes to an end by December 2026. Okay, let's keep moving along. Of course, the big talk of the town over in the UFC, Zuffa Boxing, all that mess. Conor Benn, of course, getting signed for an 8-figure contract. It's now been announced that he'll be taking his fight against Regis Prograis. This guy's like 40 years old, and you're making $10+ million in the co-main event. To Tyson Fury and Arslan Bek Makhmudov, of course. Now we know. Oh, Maverick. I know. I'm not a big smoker, but maybe you think so. I mean, I'm coughing all this mess. I mean, the cold's going around. Sorry. I don't have anything at my disposal to use and smoke on like you fucking degenerates out there. But yeah, it looks like Zuffa Boxing is just a management group at this point. Conor Benn, of course, fighting now under the Zuffa banner on a Netflix card, not promoted by Zuffa Boxing. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? What in the world is happening? Is this Zuffa? Is this not? Who knows? Who cares? It's boxing. Hopefully, Zuffa Boxing, Dana White, Turki Al-Sheikh, all these guys can inject some energy into the boxing realm, can fight the good fight. But we know that Frank Warren has now submitted some sort of I don't know what the hell it even is about, but he's suing Dana White and the Zuffa Boxing and Turki Al-Sheikh for $1 billion, $1 billion with a B, for damages that somehow happened over the course of time with contracts and broken contracts and this and that and disputes over fight. I don't fucking care. It's boxing. Not my realm of expertise, but it's out there, and we're going to keep following the news as much as we can. But speaking of the UFC and their other endeavors, UFC BJJ is announcing that they will be banning athletes from ADCC participation starting in 2027. Of course, the event that takes place every 2 years, the World ADCC Championships. Mikey Musumeci had something to say. How dare the UFC not want to spend millions of dollars investing in jiu-jitsu events, building their athletes to get maximal exposure just to donate their athletes to help other events. ADCC, one event every 2 years. The winner makes $20,000. UFC's BJJ, 20 events, 10 per year. Now, how much are they getting paid to grapple each event? I don't know exactly, but it'll probably add up to more than $20K over the course of time if you're going to stay active. So a little bit of sarcasm here from Mikey, but jiu-jitsu's all been about freelancing the entire time. No exclusive contracts. And now the UFC BJJ, they're coming in and they're making a lot of exclusive contracts with these guys. Mikey Musumeci, some of the top athletes in the world as well in other weight classes. It's going to get interesting. Of course, not my area of expertise. Again, I got to say that one more time. It's not me, but if you guys know more about it out there in the comments, out there in the live chat, let me know down below, because this is what will bring this thing all full circle. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Is Gordon Ryan going to come to UFC BJJ? Maybe. We'll see what's going on with him. Of course, he's under fire for some other things going on out there, but we'll keep chugging right along. We'll keep going. Not a lot of chat activity out there. Come on, fellas. Come on. You got to pay your lurker tax somehow. Get in there and get active. So, of course, this week we've got UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Kavanaugh. Moreno and Kavanaugh were not slated to fight before this fight, but before this fight was announced, yeah, we're getting through it. We're going to get our words out one way or another. But Kavanaugh stepping up, taking this one on short notice. He was scheduled to fight in March. He's now taking this one a couple of weeks early, saving Brandon Moreno and that Mexico card. A massive fight in the flyweight division. Can Brandon Moreno stick around? Is Lona Kavanaugh going to get a first-round finish here? Of course, he is a fast starter in the first round, always dominant in the first round. Brandon Moreno does tend to start a little bit slower, so Lona Kavanaugh may have success in the first round, but ultimately collapse under the pressure of Brandon Moreno, the veteran who is putting on a pace, putting on a pressure that not many guys can deal with, especially those guys outside the top 5, top 10 of the flyweight division. Meanwhile, co-main event, Marlon Vera versus the prospect, the doctor, the surgeon himself, David Martinez, coming up the ranks. It's Marlon Vera next. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Meanwhile, David Martinez is on a bit of a run here. Very exciting fighter coming in here from Mexico. Got some good Mexican representation on this card. Of course, there's questions going on, the cartel, some violence going down over there in Mexico. Of course, it seems to be safe as of now. It's still Thursday. We still got weigh-ins tomorrow. I don't know. So the cartel's letting this event happen. It appears that way. It appears they are going to allow this to happen. Of course, the cartel will likely even be in attendance supporting the Mexican fighters. And, if you're not Mexican, they may do some nasty things to you. No, all jokes aside, hope everybody down there is safe and sound as possible. Hopefully all that stuff has subsided, or at least most people visiting and all the Mexicans involved, local Mexicans there, they're safe and sound as can be. Hopefully we're praying for them. We really are, because it's scary. Thankfully, here where I live, not a lot of that kind of violence out there. Not a lot of ranting and raving from the cartels here. So hopefully, maybe one day, but not now, not today. We're good, we're clean, but we're praying for those out there that have to deal with that kind of stuff. Anyway, Daniel Zellhuber versus King Green. What the fuck? Come on, Bobby Green. Yeah, that's right, Bobby fucking Green. That's right, we love Bobby Green's nickname. King Green was a fantastic nickname. Bobby King fucking Green. What a badass nickname for a badass guy. Versus Daniel Zellhuber, of course, the striker, the long, rangy striker, versus the boxer, the veteran Bobby Green. Does he have his chin back? I don't know. I guess Daniel Zellhuber will have to test it. If he wants to get a win here, you're probably going to have to knock out Bobby Green. Bobby Green not going to lay over easily, but the chin might be made of glass now. I'm excited to see this one. I'm excited to see a fun little scrap go down here. Hopefully the chin of Bobby Green can hold up. Meanwhile, Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Boons. I mean, this is going to be a scrap no matter what. Both guys come to fight, but the records, the high-level mixed martial arts going on here may not be there, but I think this is going to be a scrap. I think they put it this high on the card because they know these guys come to fight. They come to put on wars. And it's probably going to be a fun fight, even if it's not a high-ranking, highly skilled bout here between these guys. But Chairez, always one to look out for. Boons, he's hit or miss. But Imanol Rodriguez, of course, 6-0 prospect, taking out Kevin Borjas, fast-flying flyweight. There is Kevin Borjas. Not easy to get a win over Kevin Borjas if you're not minding your P's and Q's. Imanol Rodriguez, though, he's a good prospect. Of course, now he's training with Daniel Cormier, trying to get that wrestling up to speed. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little bit suspicious of Emmanuel Rodriguez as a prospect overall here. Kevin Borjas, not an easy fight by any means. Meanwhile, we do have another prospect that I'm very high on. Santiago Luna, who jumped right into the UFC rankings, got a huge win just a couple of months ago. He'll be taking on Angel Pacheco. I think he's going to steamroll right through Angel Pacheco. Angel Pacheco, of course, has a decent chin, but other than that, not much to offer. Jose Medina, Ryan Gondra, he's the prospect to watch out for here. 8-1 versus 11-6. I mean, come on, just look at the records. You can tell everything you need to know. Jose Medina, I'm sure he's a good scrapper on the regional scene, but Ryan Gondra, this guy's looking to finish and finish quick, and not in that kind of way, but in the terms of a fight. Okay, Macy Chatson, Eileen Perez. It's women's MMA. It's a man versus, two women going at it. One twerks, the other not so much. Anyway, Christian Quinones versus Chris Motino. I don't know what the fuck this is all about, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe it'll be a good fight. At least I hope so. Come on. What are we doing? 2026. This is happening in the UFC. Come on, fellas. I appreciate them a lot for getting in the cage. I appreciate them for putting their lives on the lines every time they go out there. I appreciate that for the entertainment they provide me, but come on, fellas. Back to the regional scene for you two. Anyway, Manuel Torres is probably getting a big fight if he's not on this card. It's got to be a big pay-per-view slot. You're absolutely right, Alex. This is the big name that we've been missing out on. For we knew that we needed some huge Mexican talent on this one. I think that's a pretty lackluster Mexican card here. I think we could have done a lot better here. So in my opinion. If you know, you know. Hopefully you're not just a Dana White cum guzzler, and you actually try to. It's a fine card. I wish it was better. I think we could have had Manuel Torres on here, but again, maybe he's getting move him onto a pay-per-view. I'm okay with that, but it's got to be worth not having him on this card because that dude is De Andrade or Douglas Silva I don't know what to expect. Douglas in the elevator. Yep, some decent competition. Of course, he's finished back against Justice Torres in 2025 on the Contender Series last season, so he'll be making his debut. Lots of debuting fighters from the Contender Series here, so excited for another prospect, but again, I don't know where he lies. I have not been able to follow his career closely. Seen him fight a few times. We'll just wait and see. You got to do something impressive. Douglas, always a tough out, no matter his age, no matter what's going on. The guy comes to fight. Meanwhile, we've got a late replacement. Regina, Tareen, Kill Bill. Dangerous finisher, 21 years old. I mean, this lady, so she puts her face on the line and every time I'm out there, finish after finish after, and I'm excited to see what she can do. Meanwhile, Francis Marshall taking on Eric Silva. I mean, this one's going to be a fucking steamroll for Francis Marshall. But he's much better than I think the odds. Just had a WWE tryout, so she's a good athlete. She is a good athlete. It just depends. Does she actually come to fight? Does she actually come to damage girls? Does she actually fight mean? That's the question. You can get finishes if you're a highly technical women's fighter on the regional scene, but what I'm looking for is intent to finish, intent to inflict harm and damage. And so for her, I'm still waiting. I think she does fight pretty mean, and she's pretty tall for the adults. And Mr. Penis, Mr. Penis, he's fighting. This is why they're doing that, but I suspect they just couldn't find a better matchup for either guy. They're looking for one of these two to come out a serious contender in the middleweight division in some way, shape, or form down the line. But for right now, hopefully it's just going to be a good fight. Maybe a good finish on top of that of sorts. I've seen the ladies fawning, absolutely lusting over Wes Schultz. Don't tell us that we objectify women. You guys do it too, okay? I've seen it out there, but yeah. Lots of Dana White Contender Series debuting fighters here. I'm excited for all of them. Of course, Sofia Montenegro, she is not going to be taking place in multiple ways. That is going to be Tureen. Okay. Talking about making debuts here. Merab Dvalishvili. He'll be fighting wrestling. Good stuff. Damien, huge penis. That'd be my nickname. Anyway, we'll take a quick. I hope you're doing well, Alex. Hope you can get back to work. I mean, what are we doing? Do you even have a job? Do you even have a life? Any new news? Doesn't look like much. Who knows? Let's scroll through. Let's see what's going on out there. But I think we had a pretty good show. Covered a bunch of stuff. Talked about a bunch of stuff. Man, look at this, boys. Wow. Some fucking studs here. Yaroslav Amosov from left to right. Yaroslav Amosov, top-ranked middleweight in PFL fighter. Mateusz Gamrot, top-ranked lightweight. Bo Nickel is Bo Nickel. And then Jorge Masvidal getting back in. I do think so. Haven't done my research properly, but you know what? It's making the rounds. And yeah, I would not be surprised if Jorge Masvidal is trying to make some return of some form or fashion. I don't know what's going on. I do not think this is true whatsoever. Charles Oliveira potentially dislocating to believe. Let me do my research here real quick. But fair, Charles Oliveira? Potentially? Rumor? I mean this like serious rumor. I don't actually know if it's true. I don't believe it as of yet. But we'll see. Charles Oliveira. Do I gotta find Du Bronx? Is that what he's under? They're claiming that he's got an Instagram story. That's not fucking him. There he is. Okay. Checking this. Is that training footage? I don't see anything. So don't believe it. If you see the rumor out there, Charles, with a may be true, but I have my doubts. I'm not seeing any proof of that as of right now. To that, stop scrolling in case we run into anything inappropriate. Fuck this dude is, but 80. In Ilya Tafouri going to be streaming on Kick. Massive breaking news that I don't give a fuck about. I don't know what you call them. Okay. Before we leave. Of course, in the NFL, many times over for many, many years. Okay, we want them to make money. We want them to before they become a professional paid to go to school unless you are an athlete. Be securing the bag as don't get paid more. I believe, in my opinion, you could pay cannot empower these fighters. The promoters, then the people, to the fans. No. They need to get paid more. Why would you fight 10 times a year if you have a problem with it? In other sports, as much as they could, every game, every TV broadcast, they were massive figures in the sport. That's how you are successful. That's how you make big money. You stay there. You win the hearts of the fans. Otherwise, you are nothing without the fans. And once you grow to a level in which you're making too much money, normal people stop caring. Conor McGregor is a huge name to the casuals, but to the hardcores, do we really want to see him fight again? It's big news when he does, but beyond that, it kind of just is what it is. You want to support guys. You want to get behind guys. This is a sport in which we are more intimate than any other sport. Guys can talk. Guys can be themselves. They're real. They're not making billions of dollars, millions of dollars, growing to a point in which they are unrelatable and they all live in mansions. They all live outside the normal world. These guys go shopping at Walmart. These guys go to McDonald's. These are people, real people, that are competing and putting their hearts and lives and everything on the line each and every week. That's somebody that I can support. I'm not going out to buy an NFL player's t-shirt or a jersey. You know what I will buy? Somebody's t-shirt, somebody's cologne, somebody's deodorant. Not to even fucking use it, somebody's liquor, somebody's hot sauce. Just to support them and make sure that they can be successful after fighting, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm tired of this virtue signaling. They don't need billions of dollars. Otherwise, they won't fucking compete and there won't be a sport and everything will come crashing down. Get that in your fucking head before we allow these fucking people, these media members, to take these things too far, because after these guys get paid too much, we'll be wondering why it's all crashing down just like boxing has. Boxing has collapsed. There's no way these guys should be earning as much money as they should. It's just not right. That's my spiel. That's my rant. That's it. You guys have a good one. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe. Do that whole thing. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Alex, for jumping in the chat here, and all the others that did as well, plus the lurkers and everyone out there. You guys have a great day. I'll try to do the same. Anyway, I'll see you guys as soon as I possibly can.